Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing.
So my dad came to visit, Sam's grandpa, and together we all went to Puerto Plata to visit for the day, and we had a great time in Puerto Plata.
We got a car from Nino, and he's one of the people that runs rental car services and drivers, and they drove us to Porta Plata for the entire day, and we brought along a fellow that we could be friends with named Zach, and he drives some of the little taxi cabs in town that they call margaritas or honchos, and he came along to be our translator.
He can speak French and English and Spanish, which is pretty impressive considering our Spanish is
non-existent.
low.
It's about an hour's drive to Porta Plata, and it's a really nice drive through back roads and country and small towns, and we stopped along the way for a couple of snacks. One of them was some local fresh cheese that we had, and what else came with the cheese? It was eggs.
What did you have for breakfast?
Cheese, there was some local fresh cheese and some little cookies, and the driver was
That's right,
nice
cheese and
enough to have it chopped up in little pieces so that we could try them. They were little molasses cookies because we had said that we wanted lunch, and he was showing us something that they have here,
Right.
which was very nice.
And so we had fresh cheese on little toothpicks, and then we stopped and got some empanadas a little while later at another little place and had a bathroom break.
What was your favorite thing, Stephen, that we did in Puerto Plata?
I like the chocolate factory the best.
That was my favorite too.
You can't go wrong with chocolate. When we got to Puerto Plata, we were going to go to a botanical gardens and a park, and there's a huge statue of Jesus Christ up on top of a mountain. And there used to be a cable car, but it's not there anymore. And when we arrived, we found out that it's mostly closed, but you could pay for a truck to take you up there, and there was a line of people, and it was expensive. And we decided that since it was mostly closed down, we weren't going to go. And we turned around and said, well, let's find a rum factory. And we got to the rum factory, and it was completely swamped. I guess a cruise ship was in town. And,
I think there was 4 cruise ships in town that day.
right, and I think they told us to come back in like 2 hours. We decided that we weren't going to get to see that.
In the chocolate factory, first they gave you some hot cocoa and a brownie, and then they walked you through several rooms that showed how they make the chocolate, what it looks like at various stages, starting from its fruit stage.
Well, they even talked about the planting stuff in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a little video too.
Yep, they had a video first, then they walked you through some of the rooms, and then you go into the store. So after seeing all of it and trying
smelling it for
the
an
cacao,
hour.
and also while they're showing you how it goes, they give you a little roasted cacao that they break up in little pieces,
One of the
and
nibs.
you eat the nibs, and the nibs are so good. Just the nibs. Anyways,
So we ate a lot of chocolate, and we bought some chocolate to bring
we did.
back. Yeah.
And we're going to go back and buy more chocolate to go as well.
We were actually pleasantly surprised that the chocolate was very, very good. Chocolate all over the world is different everywhere you go, but Swiss chocolate is really some of the best, and it's extremely smooth and silky. This chocolate wasn't quite as silky as Swiss chocolate, but the flavor was phenomenal. I think it was even better flavor. I don't know if the nibs are different or if it's a different fermenting process. The chocolate was very, very yummy. We're going to stock up on more chocolate. And unfortunately, you can't buy it anywhere except here in the DR.
At least from
that factory.
Del Oro Chocolate Factory.
They make wonderful chocolate at Del Oro, but they will not ship it anywhere. You have to buy it here.
And after that, we went to Jumbo, otherwise known as Jumbo, and that's wrong too. And that's the big store in town that
It's kind of like a Walmart.
Sort of like a Walmart. It's a little much after not being used to big stores. I can't quite figure out what it is I'm supposed to buy in there when I go in. But we found a few things that we needed because there's stuff that is just not available here in Lupron that we need, like cat litter. And then we went to lunch. We went to a little fish place on the beach.
Yep, right by the statue of Neptune that's out on a rock out there.
Yep. And I thought it was interesting. The driver, part of when we hire a driver, it's our job to feed them, of course, which makes perfect sense. So we went there, and he did not want any of the fish or chips or hamburger. And apparently the owner of this little place said no Dominican will eat there because I guess it's very not Dominican.
It's too greasy or something. I don't know.
There's something about also the head and tail of the fish not being
they can't get over not having the tail on the plate. We had some onion rings that we brought out kind of like as an appetizer, so we were all munching on onion rings. And neither Zach nor the driver had ever had onion rings before. And he didn't even know what they were. When they brought them out, he thought it was maybe calamari or something. Because, they were kind of thin and all, breaded and fried together. And he tried one, he really liked it. It was the first time he'd ever had an onion ring. It was kind of fun.
And then we decided to go downtown to the sort of the touristy area. Callie and I went to the fabric store. There's this giant fabric store there. I don't remember what it's called, but they have a little bit of everything. And we did not get enough time in there, but that's okay. We'll figure out time to go there again.
Dominican Republic got 3 of them.
Huh?
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
those are with a mosquito
Oh
inside.
my goodness.
He's facing that way. See his little hindquarters and his tail?
The amber that we
Then you-
find
then
in
you
the
look-
mine, the age is around 15 to 65 million years. You will see the cockroach, la cucaracha, right here.
Oh, sure enough.
The middle one.
Cockroach and amber.
Don't crack that open, I'm sure it'll get out.
That is the blue amber. When you broke it, inside is like that. It's one of the more difficult colors to find in the mine.
I've never seen blue
They
amber.
change, no.
Oh my
Broken
God.
Impressive.
Look at
They
that.
change the colors because our mine have volcanic gas. That's why they change the color to blue, green.
Uh-huh. So, this is amber and methane. Amber and methane.
Exactly. This dinosaur that I got here is 60% of amber and 40% synthetic. You're allowed to touch him if you want. He's not gonna bite.
60% amber.
Yeah, 60% amber.
Sheesh. It's a lot of amber.
Yeah. A scorpion?
Yeah, that one is with a baby scorpion, the last one. A baby scorpion, the
Up
last one.
on the right corner?
In the corner. Oh.
Babies.
And that is the process, the starting, the beginning of the ember. It's like that. Was like that. So when the insect try to eat, they get touched immediately because it's like a sound. So today, that resin, after million years, is like that. Like that is how we find it in the mine at the ocean at the same time. After we find it like that, we polish. And after we polish, it's like those.
Oh my.
After we polish, we can see inside the ember if a fossil of insect or vegetation, because that made the ember expensive.
So while Hannah was looking at fabric and walking around, Sam and Randy and myself and Mom, we went to a little amber museum, and they had a little kind of fake mine that you went into, and they talked about all different kinds of amber and had examples of some amazing things, even a little salamander sitting in amber. This is one of the few places, I guess, that they have amber deep in the ground in mines. This is not laying on the beaches or someplace like that. It's absolutely underground, and there's quite a number of pieces of amber with bugs and animals and fossils of various kinds in them.
They had a chessboard in the center of one of the exhibits, and apparently they make 8 of those a year.
They also have a blue stone here that looks a little
Larimar.
bit... Larimar. It looks a little bit like a blue jade. that's very pretty. And so they had jewelry made with Larimar as well.
It looks kind of like jadeite, which is a similar thing to jade,
Yeah.
but it's not quite jadeite.
It's a different
It's
thing.
a different stone than jadeite.
It only comes from the Dominican Republic. This is the only place where it is, up in the mountains.
The Amber Museum I didn't get to see. But what I did find very interesting as we walked a little bit around the tourist areas where the cruise ships come in and walk around and they want to sell their wares to the tourists. It was a part of the Dominican Republic that I hadn't seen before, because when we live in Lupron, yes, they want to sell things to us, but all of the stores here are for everybody.
And there's not that many of them, and they're small.
Yeah, and so it was very interesting to see it was all bright and shiny and new and fresh. And then you would walk over a street and it looked like the Dominican Republic again.
A lot of the places would have various little things like museums attached to them that then ended in a store, or a factory that ends in a store. Because that's the whole point, right, is to sell to the cruise ships. It's very touristy. There was also a little tobacco factory in the same place that had the amber. And so we looked a little bit about how they make cigars, and we got to sniff some of them, and they had some other stuff that's made from bark that I guess the locals drink as kind of a health drink. They put bark in a jar and then they fill it with vodka.
Mamajuana. It is amazing tasting. There's no marijuana in it. Don't be deceived.
Mamajuana.
Mamajuana. That's what it's called. It's so good.
Did you have some today? You must have had some today.
I was in Puerto Plata today, if this makes it on there, and while Callie and I were downtown in the tourist area, there was a chocolate store and they had chocolate mamajuana. So they put the chocolate in it.
So after we were done with playing tourist a little bit, then we headed back, and we made it back in the evening, and it was just not quite getting dark when we got back to the boat. So we had a wonderful day, and Porta Plata is cool. I honestly say I think we like Lupron better. But there is everything there if you want something. I mean, it's a big city. So if you need something, you can get it in Porta Plata.
Like and subscribe. But what we really like is comments. It's so fun and wonderful to hear your comments.
Thank you, and good night.
Guten Tag.
Good day? What?